We've heard comparisons between Tyler Morris and Ronnie Bell. Have you seen those, and what are the comparisons and maybe some of the differences?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is, right, I think it's easy to say that they both wear number 8, but I think Tyler had an opportunity to play with Ronnie for a year and model a lot of things that he does off of Ronnie's game and the movement skills, in and out of breaks, his ability to go track a ball, high point it, his ability to run game. He shows up, he's physical, you can move him around, pretty smart cerebral player. So Tyler's having a phenomenal camp, and he does give you gives off Ronnie vibes at times.
Can he be that guy? What's his ceiling?
Yeah, he could be on that level. Tyler is going to be a very productive receiver here at Michigan. He's one that could do it all. He's not he doesn't have any limitations. He's not a guy that just like, oh, this guy is could move the chains, he could stretch the field vertically, intermediate routes. You could put him on screens. You can do everything with Tyler. He's he's really morphed himself into being a complete receiver.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. A lot of movement on the staff this year. Obviously, I believe you are the only full-time position coach in the same role as last year. I guess just talk about that. I mean, maybe that's an honor. Just sort of the dynamic and moving forward.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's crazy because I'd laugh. I was like, man, longest tenured outside of obviously Sharon being the head coach, but the longest tenured coach here, and no, just for me, just making sure that any help I could be of anyone, whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams. Obviously probably a little bit more familiar with the program than others. Having been a former player, been around the program for quite some time. But the main thing is just making sure I'm doing what I need to do. Whenever help's needed, I'm there to support anyone.
And how have you seen the dynamics of maybe the offensive staff?
Oh, amazing! I mean, this staff's been.
It's got that.
It's the first.
Honestly, at first I've never seen it. I've heard it go off, but I've never heard that. Sorry.
That's like when the principal calls you down from, like, Angelique, can you come to the office, please? Those Cincinnati days.
Did he answer the rest of your question?
No, just I guess the new dynamic. I mean, you were talking about.
Oh, awesome staff, man. We all have full alignment, the continuity within the staff. Obviously, Coach Campbell, myself, Grant, and Coach Kasula, we've all worked together before, different capacities, but, we work together. And then, Coach Alfred comes over, and, he's a big brother. I've known him for quite some time, obviously, me coming from the high school world. So, he's come in and he's been, like the big brother, the old man in the group. I like to tease him, but, man, what acquisition for us bringing Coach Alfred here. He's been great for us.
Ryan?
In what ways do you think your guys facing Will Johnson in practice benefits them?
It's the best corner in America. The guys, they all run to Will because they want to go against him. You want to see kind of where you're measuring yourself up at, and conversely, Will does the same thing. He wants to go against different receivers with different skill sets, and here at Michigan, we're blessed to have an abundance of talent, and the guys, they love iron sharpening iron. The old adage, and the guys love that. They love going against each other, but for us in our room, they love going against Will because it's he's the standard.
And Tyler said that he and Will go up against each other a lot. Is there other guys, too, that did a lot of reps against him?
Yeah. Fred Moore, Omarion Walker, he's with him, CJ Charleston, everyone really. It's not, Will gets an opportunity, whether it's one-on-one drills or 7-on-7, whatever it may be. Will wants to see just a different dynamic of the receivers.
Have any of your receivers got him pretty good in camp so far at all?
I don't know. I'm not at liberty of talking about that.
We'll keep Ryan from his 3-part question. Isaiah.
We saw Kendrick Bell get that touchdown in the spring game. Where is he at in his development?
Awesome. Love what Kendrick is. Obviously, he came in, played quarterback his whole life, and just learning a receiver position. The thing I loved about Kendrick the most is last training camp when we moved him, during the season, after practice, you could just Kendrick just working on footwork, getting on the jugs machine, catching the football, and that's all helped him because he's each and every day, he's building more and more confidence. I really love what Kendrick is, and I think he's going to be a heck of a player for Michigan.
Clayton?
Donovan called Kirk Campbell a mastermind. I guess what should we know about him as an offensive coordinator, and what kind of differences could there be?
He's an outside the box thinker. He's sharp, man. I love working with Coach Campbell. He's he's a great coach. He's an even better man, and I think the kids gravitate towards that. I think a lot of times, when guys are very creative, very smart guys. A lot of guys do what looks cool, whatever. He plays to the strength of our players. And, when you have a coordinator that can do that and just find different designs of, getting guys the ball, getting, open space or playing the guy's strengths, your offense can thrive immensely. And, Kirk's done a phenomenal job with that. And, everyone loves him. We love him just his approach to the game. He's always ready, prepared, detailed. And, he challenges us as position coaches to do the same. And, it trickles down to the players. And, we just that's something that we harp on every day.
Alejandro?
I learned recently you played corner your freshman year. Does any of that impact how you coach Amorian, who's made the transition back and forth a couple times?
Yeah, because it's for a year, for me it's a little different because I played both, so I was still able to get some, receiver while playing defensive back. But for him, you could tell, like I had him as a freshman, then he moves over to defensive back, his entire sophomore year. And then, obviously I didn't have him in the spring. So just coming over and just trying to get him refamiliar with everything, in a system, our offensive system, and back to the receiver traits. But he's caught on quickly. Glad he's back.
What made him a good fit as a receiver?
He's 6'4" and he's fast and athletic.
On the left here, Aaron.
You did mention your role earlier. You did add a new title in the offseason, passing game coordinator. How does that change your duties, and how much more of an imprint are you having in the game planning and the play calling? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing is just making sure I sits Coach Campbell, every day, in practice, just making sure that him and I, other coaches, just working on making sure we got the right plays in, the right people running it, and as we get closer to the game, just as pass game coordinator, just more or less just making sure that part of the game I'm helping him, create the game plan and whatnot.
Tyler yesterday was saying that the offense is making it more open so far. Do you believe you have the pieces in place to do that?
We do. I mean, we feel very, very confident, man. The one thing I would say is, I look at the offensive line and obviously losing the best offensive line coach in the country in Sharon, him being the head coach now, but you get Grant, and everyone speaks. You guys know, like, it is true. What everyone says about Grant Newsome, I marvel by just, sitting in meetings with him, hearing him talk, hearing him speak. I love Grant. I've never seen anything like it. Just the development of offensive line, like what he's done with that group thus far, amazed by that. Like I said, the expertise that Tony Alfred's, he's come over, and the backs are playing at a high level, and, they've always played at a high level, but, that standard hasn't changed with those guys. And, for him to come and learn a new system, he's been great. Steve Kasula, coming in as, coming from UMass as offensive coordinator, and the phenomenal job he's done with the tight ends, coasting and watching Marlon Klein's development, and watching Zach Marshall and Deacon Tonelli and Jalen Hoffman and the two freshmen, Prescorn and Hansen, just watching what he's done with those guys. It's been marvelous. And then, you're watching Coach Campbell, the development with the quarterbacks, as we go through that, just watching all those guys just play at a high level, knowing where the ball goes, ball placement, and most importantly, just creating that leadership. And we talk about in our program, the leadership, it has to be contagious. And, the quarterbacks have done a phenomenal job of that, not only playing at a high level, but also leading his team. And but a testament to our offensive coaches. Those guys have been rock stars.
Angelique.
Ron, you know Donovan better than anybody. How have you seen him come into his own this season or off season?
Yeah. Now he's I mentioned leadership a minute ago. I think the biggest jump he's made is that leadership part. Now that, Blake's, on in the NFL, Donovan knows that, he's the alpha in the room. Him and Khalil are the most experienced guys, more so Donovan. Having played the position, I think Donovan's he's given his team that spark. Every day comes out there, with a ton of energy and juice, and just kind of spreads like a wildfire. And the guys get up there, love practicing, competing against each other. But Donovan's done everything. Parts of his game that he thought he should improve in the off season. You can see him attacking that every day. And something that he and I talk. We have a special relationship, and some things he shared with me, like he feels like he's in a really good place.
You mentioned Fred too. I mean, where do you see him evolving this season?
Frederick Moore? Yeah, same thing. Frederick Moore's playing at a high level. Fred's doing some good stuff, really good stuff in camp for us. He's a young man that, last year we had a couple nicks and bruises, and he played early. He played super early last year. He was ready, and when the guys got healthy, the older guys, he kind of took a less of a role on offense, and now, he's competing to start. He's where I thought he would be, and we just got to keep pushing him.
Right there, Ryan.
Yeah, with all the things that have come out, obviously recently with the NCAA stuff, there seems to be a program where the coaches get in trouble more than the players. Why do you think that pattern exists, and how hard is that for the players themselves to have to deal with the fact that the coaches seem to constantly creating negative headlines?
This team, man, we love football. We love each other. We love football, and I think being able to limit the distractions, the outside world, we can't control what people think of us, those situations, we want to play football, especially during training camp, we just, kind of lock ourselves in shim and, just focus on how can we be better versions of ourselves every day. I don't think, no disrespect, but the outside noise that's just what it is to us. I say that, without trying to, talk about anybody, anything like that, but all that matters is our guys in football.
You guys are in a unique spot, coming off national championship, but at the same time dealing with so much change, new staff members, new players. How do you think you guys are handling it so far? I know it's early, but how do you think your athletes are just kind of handling that amount of change?
I think first and foremost, the new additions to our football program, you try to find, like-minded guys that kind of fit the culture of Michigan football. And I think, in the past, they've been home runs, whether it's incoming freshmen or whether it's, guys out of the portal, they've been home runs for us. So I think you got to make sure kids are fits. That's first and foremost. And I think from a standpoint of, just meshing well, the guys are able to watch the coaches. We always talk about coaches. If you have strong alignment amongst your coaches, the kids see that, and they see everyone pulling in the same direction. It's been an easy transition for us thus far. Hopefully we could keep it going, but, this is how things are done at Michigan, and, we have a great leader.
Got time for 2 or 3 more with Coach Bell. Start with Tommy.
Yeah, I just wanted to expand on Reiner's question just a little bit. In the 48-page report yesterday that came out by the COI, one of the lines said, I don't have it directly in front of me, but it said that a former staffer said the culture was to go up to the line and cross it, or perhaps cross it. I guess, is that when it comes to recruiting and just how you operate? Can you speak to either that sentence, or you've been around a while, like you said, is that the culture that you see here?
No, I mean, what for us the culture is just finding young men that can help Michigan football win. That's guys that want to come in, get a great education, get a degree from Michigan. That means everything, right? And then get an opportunity to play for one of the premier football programs in America. That's how we recruit. That's the type of kids we're looking for, and that's the standard here. And I don't think crossing lines or anything like that. That's not what we're about.
Isaiah?
There's been a lot of talk this offseason about Samaj doing a lot more than just being a slot type guy or a gadget type guy. I mean, you've been around him longer than anyone. How much more does he have in his toolkit, and where have you seen him kind of add to that this offseason?
Yeah, I think this offseason he's really attacked men. I used a term with Tyler Morris earlier, being more complete receiver, and that's Samaj. You watch some of the things he did in high school, and he was a phenomenal player, played all over the field, and that's how we plan to use him. Last year I think as a freshman, when you have 2 NFL guys with Roman and Cornelius, and you had a seasoned guy like Tyler coming off a freshman year where he played. Samaj just sat back and learned. And we were able to expand his role. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Samaj just, doing a little bit more than he did last year. He's ready for the challenge. He's had a great camp thus far. Just keep putting as much on his plate as possible. Just seeing what, how well he could do, with the increased role that we're asking him to take. And, like I said, so far so good.
Last question to Aaron.
Why did you guys feel the need to bring in CJ Charleston, and what does he add to the room that maybe you didn't have before?
Experience, right? A leader. We have no seniors in our room, bringing in older guy that you know, he's a seasoned guy, and the fact that didn't matter what level, but you know, he's played Big Ten opponents. He's played against, you know, Michigan State and Ohio State. You know, done good things, and he's been great. He's been a great addition to our room, great addition to our football program. Does everything right, you know, leadership standpoint. He's a mentor, and he's a pretty darn good football player.